Good morning. This is today's live on Equa Television International. You're welcome. Thank you for giving us access to your sitting room or wherever you are getting us from. And we sincerely appreciate because we are doing this because you are there. And in the house today, we are fully packed. Everybody is ready because we are here with an interesting topic that will open our horizon to the issue that we are going to discuss today. And we are looking at the cycle of poverty. I hear you say, what? Cycle of what? Yeah, cycle of poverty. When you talk about poverty, some people will say it's a mindset. Some people don't believe. But today we will dive into it and then see, is it the thing of the mind? Is it a thing of, well, let me just leave it at that. The house is full. I'm fully covered with beautiful damsels here. I have Joyce, Jakarta, I have Javiva, and I have Prudence. This one that you guys are just calm this morning. I'm afraid.
You are covered by ladies. Me, I'm covered by the blood of Jesus, and it's on Christ the solid rock I stand.
I was waiting for that response, actually.
Right?
I was just waiting for it. Yeah.
The introduction was intentional.
So
That's why I started with her. Ideally, I should start with my sister and my...
I'm covered with the blood of Jesus any day, any time. I will not come and be anchoring my faith
Why is it that...
on one human being that will later disappoint me, or all the ones that will be promising my personal squad. They will take us for lunch. I will not see
Be looking at her now.
and all. Well, to
Be
the,
looking
to
at
the
her.
one that is concerned.
She's talking to you.
Outside people
personal
will
squad.
say
No, she's
when
talking
they
to
ask
where
the
that
good,
somebody will
she
disappoint. Somebody will just disappoint her.
So what makes you think I've disappointed her?
On this show, we're still
let
on
the
today's
guilty
live.
deal
Yeah.
with it.
On the same set.
Let the guilty person deal with it. But I will not call it. You know those kind of treatments that somebody will offend you. You will not tell the person that he has offended you, and then you are not fighting with the person, but the attitude you are giving the person will prefer that you just look for a cane and just
Exactly.
slug the person, so that everything will just
I
end.
get it done with.
Like just end. Sam Muslima was saying circle of poverty. Some people are, different people have different perspective to what poverty is. For some people sapa, for some people will say my pocket is dry. For some people they will say absence of maybe food and all of that, but it's all encompassing. It is beyond money. A lot of times when you talk about poverty, people think it's the absence of money. That's just what makes you poor. You earlier talk about mindset as well. It always begins with the mindset. When you can have the resources, but you can still have a poor mindset towards
Handling the
handling
resources.
and all of that, it can still lead to poverty. So you see, it's all encompassing. It's characterized by, but basically it's characterized by deprivation to basic human needs. When you cannot afford food, you cannot afford shelter, you cannot afford health, you don't have access to social or economic let's say benefit, you don't have access to education and all of that. And you see, poverty begins when a child is given birth in a family that have limited or no access to some basic resources that will make life better for the child. And you see, for some people, it turns out that from one generation to the other, and the circle like keeps moving, unless somebody from that generation says that no, I don't want this to continue, so I'm breaking out. I'm going after this, I'm going after that, so that like things will change. But otherwise, it's like transferring of the same lifestyle from one person to the other, and that's why, like you rightly said earlier, on the mindset. So to break that circle of poverty, you have to change your mind, saying that I know I was given birth to in this family that have limited access or no even access at all to resources that maybe will meet my basic needs. Like, so I'm going to break this circle. I'm going to be different. I'm going to go for education. I'm going to ensure that I have an economic environment that will boost my productivity I'm going to do this and that. I'm going to invest instead of borrowing. Earlier, before the show started, we were talking about how that some people intentionally crumble other people's business. Sometimes it's not because they do not have the means or the resources, but like you feel that instead of paying this debt, no, I should instead use the money to do another thing, because you're thinking that the person that you're owing doesn't have a need for it, or you paying that debt is like wasting your money. So let me just use the money and do another thing. So for some people, again, the mindset is, let's keep borrowing until the salary comes or until I make profit. And then at the end of the day, you make the profit, you still use the profit, or your salary is being paid, you use it to settle debt. Like, you keep moving in that circle of poverty, because nothing will change if that is your mindset or how you approach life. That I'm going to live in debt, I'm going to be using my salary to be paying. But you see, another person is saying, I'm going to invest, and when I invest my money, I get profit, I'm going to use it and create more wealth for myself. So you see the difference between the haves and the have-not. So have-not. So it's just important that people change their mindset towards poverty. Like, the Bible made us understand that we always have the poor. But like late Joyce Iyakwari will say, if all fingers are not equal, why must you be the shortest? So if the Bible say we must have the poor, you can be deliberate about not being the poor.
And you know, the word circle itself means an endless journey. You know, a circle doesn't have an end. There's no door, there's no window, there's nothing at all.
I think I like it the way you put it, so that the mind will be open, so that you will know that cycle is an endless.
Yes.
So do you want to live in that endless cycle, you know, in suffering?
So the word circle in itself is endless. So you can choose how you want your circle to be. Do you want to make it wider, or you just want it to remain the way it is, or you want to make it smaller, or you even want to break it all together and create a different circle? So this whole circle of poverty is a mindset. How have you positioned your mind towards poverty? Some people may say it is hereditary. My family, my great-grand, my lineage generally, this is how they were. And
some will say curse.
Yes, it is a curse. They just cursed my family line, and that's what I am made to live with. Just like she said, some people are born into poverty. You don't decide that, okay, this is the family I want to be born into. If we were to decide, everybody would want to go for the rich family. So you don't decide. So some people are born to be in a poor family. But what have you done about it now that you have grown and you are wise? That is the place of intentionality, the place of changing that mindset and then working towards it. Some people that are doing well now, some people that are really comfortable, if they give you their stories, you will not believe it. The kind of things they went through. If they tell you they did that, you will say, probably it's a movie you watch, you're just gisting us about it. Because they don't look like what they have been through. They don't look like the problems they went through. So it is a mindset, this whole circle of poverty. It all starts from the income you're getting. How do you deal with it? How do you save? How do you invest? How do you put back your capital? How do you make your profit? Some people are doing their business, but it's like for a family. You are in a business, but your family is feeding from the capital itself, not just from the profit. That is a circle of poverty. You should be able to understand that, okay, this is what I want to do in this business that I am doing. I want to make sure I get some profit. I want to make sure I invest. Yes, you may not be able to meet your basic human needs at that point, but that is because you are aiming towards something. But some people, they borrow to pay debt. Yes, you know, like I think there was a time we spoke about people that love to borrow airtime, people that love to borrow this and that.
I thought you were not going to open that page because you were interrogated after the show.
I need to shake that table small. You know, you borrow money and then you need to pay it back. So you have to borrow elsewhere to pay back this one you've borrowed. By the time this one is due, you go to another source. That is a very terrible circle of poverty. At what point do you hope to come out of it? because there's no point that you will borrow money and there's no interest that will be incurred. So your debt keeps becoming larger and larger, and that is how your circle of poverty keeps becoming larger and larger. So it is a point where you have to change that mindset. Yes, if my family have been cursed, if I believe so, from poverty, how do I want to break that curse?
Generational curse.
Yes, and come out of it? It's not even a curse. It might be negligence. It might be ignorance. It may be just irresponsibility. How do you want to be different from that family?
Exactly. Just interesting that she had to shake the table of the airtime. Some of us really.
Oh, you are the one.
Joy said something that the guilty ones deal with.
No, I'm just saying some of us. It's a generic sense, like some of us.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
not-
My
I'm not
sister, I
speaking for
understand.
myself.
Just talk. You know they will always attack you.
She's
always
thinking.
attack
She's,
you.
Cannot
see, she's
preempt me.
thinking. She's thinking. but these people that keep going to borrow to settle another debt, I think personally,
Is it
you
the
know,
charge card or money?
no, I'm not talking about the recharge card. I've left that.
Okay, borrow in its general
Borrow
sense.
in its general sense. Yeah, borrowing to settle another debt.
Because some people don't have phone. You
True.
understand? So,
Very true. So what I was saying is, I think you know how the concept of addiction is. If you have not taken that dose, you're not fine. You're not okay. I think that's the point where these people are. If they are not borrowing, if somebody is
they
not,
feel sick.
they feel sick. If somebody is not, in fact, I think I heard the story of a woman who borrows to go and buy things in the market, then she'll come and settle it and still borrow again to go and buy. It's I cannot wrap my head around it. But she says something like, it is better if she does business with somebody else's money
Than
hers,
Okay.
because she would want to pay back the money. She's addicted. Honestly, that's the only logic I can get out of this. So this is just poverty playing its role. There are ways that you can break out. See, for instance, this woman, it's not like she's lazy. She's good. Hardworking. She does what she needs to do, but she would prefer to do it on borrowed money than to do it with her own money.
So this kind of person, even if you give her a large amount of money, she'll squander it and still go and borrow another one.
Thank you very much. That's the point. So here it is. This is what she's supposed to do. It's her mindset that needs to be worked on. Earlier on, Joyce was saying that poverty in itself is a mindset, the entirety of it. For some people, poverty is a lack of money. Some people, it's food that is not on my table that is poverty. And for some people, is that I don't have a house to stay. For some people, so long as I have a house and my family is feeding well, I'm good. That's one person's ideology. So when people say, oh, this person is poor, he tells you, no, I can meet my basic needs, so I'm good.
You see, recently there was a woman that said that God should help us. So let me say it in Hausa, how she said it. She was like, mutalakoki, like we the poor. And I told her that you think you're poor, and she said yes. And I said, why do you think you are poor? She now told me, how much do I have? Like, I told her, you're not poor. You see, by definition, when you talk about poverty, like I said earlier, it is characterized by severe deprivation of basic human needs. You don't have food, you don't have shelter, you don't have clothes, like basic community health. You don't have access to health. So these basic things, you do not have it. That is when you are characterized as a poor person. So you don't have all these things. Talk more of even having access to education. You understand? So in Nigeria, for example, we keep hearing some statistics about how that we are poverty capital. Why? Because certain people can barely feed. Like those number of people can barely feed the basic human needs. They don't have access to it. So it is just when people decide to just say, oh, take. When you see certain living condition of some people, you can just tell that these people are poor. These people are living in abject poverty. Like where to sleep, they do not. You see them under the sun, under the rain, to eat like there's nothing. These people you characterize as poor people. But today we have advanced poor people. These people have the food, they have clothes, they have access to even education. But you see, their mindset is terrible. See, you can just tell that this is how this person's future is going to be. Imagine that you are living a life of death, like you're living in death. You are a poor person, because somebody that wants to have or wants to live in wealth or wants to be able to afford certain things in the nearest future, you want to be investing, you want to be planning your future. There are some people that when you speak with them or when you converse, you can just tell that this person is a poor person, because the mindset is really underdeveloped. It's not informed at all. You see, that's why people say
it's
that
not informed.
Yes, people will tell you that, see, it is the empty drum or tin that makes the loudest noise, but the one that is filled, you barely hear anything. Like, why would you not want to? You work, you in, but you don't want to just live within your means, or like just cut your coat according to the materials that you have. But you want to that everything that is trending, you want to have it. So whether you have or you don't have, you're either borrowing or you're buying on credit and all of that. So some people sell their future even today. And when you hear conversation about even our country, you hear people saying, oh, I fear for the next generation. Why? Because of certain loans that the government have actually collected. And at the end, after collecting the loan, it wasn't invested in some human capital development.
And they are still proposing.
Do you understand?
More.
It was not invested in human capital development. At the end of the day, you will also get from it. But at the end of the day, it's like you collect loan to go and build bridge, or you collect loan to come and, like, you can't even account for it. People collect loan and then they siphon it, or they just embezzle it. So think about the future. Because if you cannot pay those loans, it means you are giving something. At the end of the day, there are people that I've seen that collected loans from banks. And at the end of the day, they had to give their houses. And then they moved to poverty. Like they had to struggle with where to sleep, what to eat, lost their jobs and all of that. So you see, people have to be very intentional. Why some of these people that were born into poverty, like, it was not my doing. I was giving birth to it. My parents were giving birth to it. But they decided to continue living in that circle. Now I'm aware that of the importance of education, of the importance of information, which is actually important for my personal growth and even my future. Because absence of education can hamper your personal growth and even your future. So if I know the importance of this, I should go for it. We've had stories of a lot of rich men, how they started by just selling ice blocks. Some of the richest people we talk about today, they started from selling ice block. Some of them were hawking. Why? Because they don't want to remain where they are. What was the secret behind the hawking? So that they can meet a need, a basic need that is absent, and need that must be met. Do you understand? So they decided, I'm going to do it. Whether come rain, come sunshine, I'm going to do this. This school, whether I have shoe or I don't have, I will go. Whether there's chair or not, I will sit on the floor. I must learn, because that information is going to be important for my growth and also helping me build my future. So we have to break from that circle of poverty. If you have, you see, Sambo Solomon is one person on this that always talks about your association.
True.
It has a lot of impact on you, or your whole being. Yes. You see, poverty, when you talk about poverty, the profound, like, negative impact that poverty has on one is not it's better imagine. So it's very important that we are deliberate about the future. Yes, you were born into poverty, but what effort are you making to break out of it? Sometimes we keep making excuses that my parents did not do this for me. Oh, the community I grew up from this. Oh, our government are not doing this. Oh, is that how you want to live your life? You even get like job, or we get opportunities to even come up with business, people sponsor us, but we just squander the money and still keep blaming the government. Oh, I actually started up this business, but the environment is not enabling. You have to be resilient. You have to keep pushing.
And you know, we are in a time that people decide that they want to be poor. laziness is being encouraged. You know, those our parents from before that are doing well now, they walked their way towards that. But now we don't want to do that. You know, we want the soft lifestyle. You want to be under your AC in your house, and then just with a click you have your millions. With a touch of the screen you have your billions. That is what we want. But it doesn't work like that. You know, there's no food for a lazy man. He who does not work, the Bible says, should not do what? Should not eat. But we want to eat. In fact, we want to have a feast on a daily basis without lifting a finger.
I think parents should inculcate that, you know, that issue of if you don't work, don't eat.
Exactly.
You know,
African parents are so emotional that they cannot do it.
It's not.
See,
It's
let
not
me tell
that.
you what happened.
I think
in this.
I think it's
empty
this.
threats.
I've heard.
yes.
I had a conversation with a few friends, and this is what they kept on saying. So my dad struggled his way through school. This is my friend talking. He said my dad struggled his way through school, along with his brothers. Yes, but his was worse because his mother was different from the brothers. So the mother was not alive, and he had to struggle. Basically, he just struggled his way through life.
To push, yeah.
Yes, and now that he has provided, that he has attained a certain level of comfortability, he does not want his children to suffer as he did. So he makes everything available for
Usually
them.
that's what you hear.
That's
the way
that's the
I
attitude.
suffered when I
Yeah.
was growing up. I don't want my children. And in doing that, you overdo.
Sometimes.
You overdo
Most times.
that.
Most
Yes.
times.
Most times you don't even know where to draw the line, because you don't want them to go through what you went through. It becomes the opposite. Because they become so spoiled that they don't even know anything. They have no idea. Imagine there are certain children in this age now that don't even believe that there is a point that you have to fetch water from the well. Or the worst of it is go to the river. They all
They
know
don't
that
know
when
that.
you open your tap, water
You
is
get
there. That is because they grew up knowing that. So people, young ones that are really coming up now, you see people in 19,
Some
20,
don't even know how to.
21,
No, but
Some don't even know how to
cars.
pump water to tank.
excuse me,
Like
but their
opening
parents
the
are
tap,
only trying
they
to
will go
break the circle of poverty.
Yes,
If they
and-
can
and
afford
that
that
is
life,
fine.
why should
We are not saying
That
that,
is
that
fine.
is
go to the
We
okay,
are,
go and
we
look for
are
the
saying
light.
that is wrong
overdoing
choice.
it. You know, too much of everything they say is bad. So we're not saying that should not be done. Of course, everyone wants a better lifestyle for his family and all of that. But here we are saying that when you overdo it, at the end of the day, it will bounce back to you.
When you
Because
overprovide.
No, it's
no,
not.
when you
it's not-
overdo
it's not-
everything at all, it bounces back to you. Because when they grow up and they are faced with certain challenges, they will come back to you and say, you were the one that did this to me because you did not tell me the right thing to do. You did this, you thought you were
I
protecting
think on
me.
this
I
show
was
you
going
gave
to
us
say-
one example.
I actually wanted
of
to give
someone
an
that
example
said
so that
that he went and then he was like angry with his parents that they allow him not to do certain things. Now he's looking.
and he's lost.
Yeah,
I was
So
actually
that's
going
the
to
too
say-
much.
It's a
I was
whole
going to give
different
an
issue.
example right now. Sometimes because the parents want to provide everything, and that's where she said you go extreme, you do excessively. For instance, you don't even allow the child to do something as simple as school registration. You go all the way. You take this child from this office to that office, and this person is in the higher institution. From this office to that office to that office. At the end of the day, when he finishes that, he has no sense of responsibility whatsoever. You keep doing that. It's like you keep the child so caged. You prefer to send him to a private school than the public school because the public school you would suffer. No, my child would not suffer. No, understandable. You want your child to, but there are certain sense of responsibilities that you need to allow your child to see. There's a professor on this. She has appeared on Equa Television. Professor Amaka. She was talking about how she does with her children and how she allows them to do certain jobs because this is how she teaches them to be responsible. Does that mean she doesn't provide for their needs? No, she does. And she's capable of providing more than they can imagine. The other professor, Professor Teresa, was mentioning that her children, she when they come back for holidays, she tries as much as possible to give them avenues to do business so that they would understand the value of hard work. But you see, that's where certain parents have lost it. They keep the children so close, you pamper the child, you are a mother hen to the child, and you're not allowing this child to make his way in the world. So when this child is in the public, in the labor force, this child is lazy and still expecting everybody to do what his parents have been doing for him.
Prudence, well understood, because right now there are children that their parents have so made them dependent that you can tell that if this person's mother dies, or if anything happened to this person's father, this person is literally gone. Because you have not been able to take responsibility even as an adult for yourself. You're so dependent on your parents. Like, even toothpaste you can't afford even after graduating from like tertiary institution. You are now working, but everything your parents provide for you. Like, you can easily tell that, oh no, I pity this person if this person's parents are not here, because the parents have so over do you understand? They didn't allow the children to be responsible for themselves. I'm not against, I'm not for that. But what I'm trying to say is that there are parents that use that I suffered, so the child must suffer as well. When you know he has not gotten to the stage of even taking responsibility for himself or herself. I've seen children that are hawk, and I ask myself the question, what crime did they commit? Did they ask you to bring them to this world? Like, you know that you were born in poverty and you did not make any effort to pull out of that poverty, and you're now bringing children into that poverty in the name of God gives and God will provide. I've seen parents that make their children sleep with hunger, telling them that, oh, it is just a phase. I'm not talking about the one that is just a challenge or that just happened. But you know that this was a cycle that you were brought out from, and you did not change the narrative, but you were still procreate or recreating, and you're still leaving the children. Imagine a child of 4 years walking all day instead of going to school. So you see, it's a circle that you need to break. You should not if I come out from a poor background, I know that it's difficult, we cannot afford the basic human needs, then I should be deliberate about ensuring that I am able to afford the basic human needs before I start my own family. There's nothing like, okay, God, we use all manner of scripture, all kind of motivational speech, just so that to back our erroneous lifestyle. So I don't support that. Like, sometimes when I see parents that do that, I'm not happy with them. Because I look at this child, and this child should have been in school. This child would have grown to become this that will solve this problem. But look at what you have subjected the child to. I don't know if you've been to the market and seen little children begging, and you ask yourself, like, where are the parents? Why would you subject these children to this? You're just breeding them in that circle of poverty. They will grow up too and just start up a family and say, go to the streets and beg, so that you can afford food for yourself. As far as they're concerned, education is not anything. It's just to find food and eat. So they keep bringing children. At the end of the day, they constitute nuisance in the society. They form bandits and terrorists. And you that decided to take responsibility for yourself and your family, you cannot sleep in your house because certain people.
You are the target.
But you understand?
But you know something?
You talk about cycle, and it's very important, because talking about cycle and then talking about this, Jemima, you said something earlier, and I look at it like people just want to live on luck. and living,
very true.
living
Very true.
like, you just imagine how the person is thinking, and then you have this cycle of people. You talked about motivational speakers. There are some that are even contributing to this thing that we are just
living
discussing.
in poverty, but they are telling you how to be rich in one day.
In one
Because
day.
the person is sleeping in the park. He doesn't have she doesn't have shelter. Like, you see him wearing one cloth for 2 months, and he's telling you 2 ways or 100 ways to become rich in 1 hour. And the person is living in poverty. You see, earlier I was not really about to argue with Prudence or Jemima, but the point is that as a parent, you are responsible to some extent. Like, their age or their stage in the life of your child, that you are responsible for that child. So when you have the means, you saying, there are moments that will say, this thing that I passed through, I don't want my children. I've had my mom said like several times, oh, at some point I was challenged this way or the other. My mom was brought up in like she grew up in a Muslim background. Like she was a Muslim before she converted. So as far as her religion was concerned, like sending the girl child to school was not it. But she didn't want, because she was so interested in education, she didn't want to just grow up like that in the house, reach certain age, they marry you out. And she decided to go to her uncle's house, who is a Christian. And she told him, I want to go to school. And he said, okay, I'm going to take you to school. Which school do you want? And based on her interaction with friends, because the old school had that sent her to the school of, is it Alo or something, they learn the Islamic teachings and all of that. But she wanted the formal education. And her uncle said, I'm sending you to so school. And when she was going to the school, I said, what gift would you want from me? And she said she wanted the Bible. So he was shocked. He wanted, what do you know about the Bible? And she just shared a little experience. He bought it for her. She went. Eventually, she converted too. But you see, she was deliberate.
Great.
I've seen girls in my religion that look at how they ended. And I don't want that kind of circle. So I want to have access to education that will, at the end of the day, add to my personal growth and even like impact in my future.
Society.
And so you broke that circle. You know the things that you actually went. You were deprived of certain things before you decide to break from that circle. So you have your children now. You should not deprive them of food. You should not deprive them of clothes. You should not deprive your children of shelter. There are parents that their children that are on their age, still in primary school, you will not give them food because you say you too, your father was not giving you food. Or your children are going to school, you tell them that no, you will not use transport to go to school. You have to trek because I trek to school. Like when you have the means to make life easy for them, but you want them to suffer just because you think that, oh, you are training them. There are certain times that require some forms of training, but at certain stages, just mere wickedness.
Yeah, and it's okay to allow them enjoy that. All I am saying is tread with caution.
Yes.
Just know where
The
to
boundary.
set the boundary and the limit. But it's okay for you to allow your children have the things that you did not have, but just don't get swayed by your own
Exactly.
actions. Tread
Exactly.
with caution so that you
Like
know
employing
where
a-
you know where to draw the line. Yes.
I was actually going to say,
Employee what?
a house girl to go to school with them to go and be doing things for them. You don't know that some people at university in the hostel that they have girls that come and work for them, and their parents pay those girls because they don't want their
Exactly.
children to do any hard work.
exactly. And I'm guessing the point that you're making. Earlier on, Solomon said this jokingly that a lot of parents really need to teach their children that person who does not work should not eat. I grew up with that mantra. It was literally a mantra in my house. He who does not work shall not eat. Because at some point I was always complaining about work, and my mom just had to inculcate into my head that hard work is not punishment.
Punishment. Yes.
And this is one thing that we really need to teach from the children from young age. Hard work is not punishment. As much as you want your child to have a good life, you need to teach the child responsibility as well. There are levels on how to teach. You don't have to do it in the extreme, like the examples that Joyce made. It doesn't need to be that extreme, but you can use lenient ways to teach your children that hard work is important. This is something that is not overrated. Hard work, that person who is hardworking, however the circumstance this person finds himself, he will not go hungry. That's one thing with hard work. So already you're breaking the circle of
I
poverty.
should use myself as an example.
You're breaking
After
it.
secondary school, my mom said, you have to look for a skill. And then I was like, somebody just finished secondary school. I mean, the wider world that we kept dreaming about, where it's here now. We're supposed to start visiting friends, going to recreational center, taking pictures and all of that. And go and learn what? I was like, I don't want to learn anything yet, though. My mother said, you will not stay in this house. You want to be eating what? You have
Whose
to learn
food?
something. You have to learn. And she was using my older sister as an example for me. Look at how that after school she has gone to learn this. And do you know that at some point, state government were on strike, and your father too, federal government at that level, they were also on strike for 3 months. And there was a little proceed that my elder sister was getting from her handwork that she was like helping
Supporting
and
the
assisting
family.
the family. So
Mm.
she was trying to talk to me about the importance. And I said, okay, I will learn tailoring. My mom said, no. Where do you want to learn? I told her, and she said, no, that this particular woman is just going to end up becoming house girl because for the people that she has seen learning work from her place, it's either they are washing her clothes, washing plates, going to pick children from school, and at the end of it, when materials are being cut out, you would not know, you would not see. And she just suggested another trade, and I said, okay, that's fine, I will go. And she was telling me how that my sister at university level, once she resumed school, she hardly called them, oh, I need this, I need that, unless they package things and send to her. And they discovered that it was from the little handwork that she was doing that she was like saving some little proceed, and she was helping herself. And when she was actually settled, there was no need for her to call back home because she's able to meet her needs. She's able to buy her handout, do her assignment, print, and all of that. And they said, okay, just look at how it has been helpful. And I was encouraged to do that. Like that, a perfect example of breaking from the circle of poverty, because you are able to meet your basic needs. I taught the same line, and I can tell you till tomorrow that more than 60% of my needs that I like, my bills that I pay, is from that skill that I decided to like learn. So when you do that, now I'm able to meet up with my needs. Now it means I don't have to live in deprivation of my basic human needs, like clothes, shelter, and like you don't have to be dependent on anybody. You can take up responsibility for yourself. You can pay for your health, medicals, and all of that. You can start up. You can empower other people as well. So imagine we inculcate in our children this act, like, okay, you are now this at so age. Maybe you just realize that the child has interest in this or that, and then you encourage this child. You see that this child, maybe during holidays, like you send the child to go and learn this trade or this skill, and then you keep monitoring the child, encouraging the child. You are breaking out from every circle of poverty. If your parent did not send you to school, and you are now deliberate, you're saying, see, I rather not wear the most expensive clothes, but let my child go to the school. You are breaking out from the circle of poverty. You're saying that, no, this circle will not continue in my family. If I came out of poverty, I will not live in it. I'm going to break out from it. I should be able to meet my basic needs, and my children should not suffer like basic needs, like grow to see that I can't even afford the basic needs for them. So you take by enrolling your children in school or learning any trade or skill, is you breaking out from it, opening yourself to information. Some of us, the poverty of the mindset is what is dealing with us. You are not open to information. A lot of things are happening. We're in an era of technology advancement, but when they say, oh, go to ATM, you say, me, I cannot use that, let my child go and do it for me. Do transfer my phone. No, I can't go and make it. Like, you are so static. Okay, there's a new way of doing this thing. There's an application, there's a software. No, I prefer this one that I've been using. No, do you know that this registration, coming to office, registering, you don't have to do it manually. You can do it digitally, and say, no, we are used to this one. We are so static in our mind. Like, we just feel that things will continue to be the same way. So you see, when the world moves, at the end of the day, you are adjusting, and you just wake up and see. So is you stagnation leads to poverty. So
and
you must strive for
someone
information
spoke
and
about
growth at all times.
someone spoke about something that most people were against, but I saw sense in it. You find a man that wants to get married. He doesn't have a job. Yes, he went to school. He doesn't have a job. He does not have any skill at all. And then the person he wants to get married to also does not have a job and does not have a skill. And when you try to discourage these people from that, they kick against you. And their idea is, there are people that have gotten married without anything, and that marriage came with the blessing that immediately they got married, they all had jobs and they are living comfortably. And they try to give you examples of one or two people that have done that. But the question is, how do you want to fend for yourself after you have gotten married? You find people getting married and then going from one house to the other, telling you how they have not been able to eat for days. And then it doesn't just stop at that. They give birth. Not just to one, not to two, not to three. Like, they keep giving birth, and then the dependency level keeps increasing.
Increasing.
How
They shift it to
exactly?
you now.
Yes, they shift responsibilities to you. That is why sometimes you find people splitting their children. This one will stay with this uncle. This one will stay with that father. This one, like, you don't even want to break out from the circle of poverty. It's like you want it to just keep continuing, keep continuing. That is why you find little children hawking. Like, what have they done to deserve that? Like Joyce said, if you knew that you could not fend for them, why did you bring them into the world? Instead of bringing them, why don't you work hard towards seeing that you are in a better place? Yes, marriage is a beautiful thing. Yes, giving birth to children is a beautiful thing. But if you cannot afford it, why do that? Even when even if one of the partners is having a job, how do you still manage that? Not to talk about two of you not having anything at all to do. It is high time we really talk to ourselves. And when you're doing the wrong thing and people are pointing out the things you're doing, it is high time you really sit down and ask yourself questions. Don't live in denial, because that is how the circle of poverty keeps being larger, and then you keep compounding issues for yourself at the end of the day.
And you know, one way that people defend this very example should just give. One way they defend it is, don't look down on small beginnings.
Yeah, that's the word.
I find that very funny, because this is it. Small beginnings does not mean that you're not doing anything.
He blesses
It
the
means
little
that
you have.
you're doing something. It just isn't giving you as much as you want or you expect.
Living by miracle. I've said it earlier.
You're
That's
living by
just it.
miracle.
Because they will tell you God will provide.
Yeah.
Are you
Exactly.
God?
Exactly.
Why are you judging me?
Did
And-
he tell
and-
you?
and-
Did you tell-
And do you
all
know
this,
one
that's
thing?
what you will hear.
What-
They just want to shut you so that you will not say
You will
anything
not say
further.
anything further.
Are you God?
And they even give
Definitely
you
you are
example.
not
See
God.
see this person. Where was he? He was not doing anything. See where he is now. Like,
But you know something is that this person would not, the example they are giving is not giving you the full story. He was probably putting his hands to do something. He would not just sit down at home and be preparing for a wedding and he does not have anything to do. He was contributing. He was doing something. He was active. And that's why he got to the point where he has gotten to. But you're sitting down and doing nothing. Yes, you've gone to school. Some people are saying, I've gone to school, I've dropped my CV, I'm not doing anything now, I'm just sitting at home. You're not doing nothing. And you're expecting that you'll marry a woman and bring her to your house, and she's not doing anything as well. And you're still expecting that when you give birth to children, some miracle is going to happen and you're going to feed them. That's not how life works. This is it. You have to be doing something. I'm not saying that don't go ahead and marry, but how much, what is your dreams? What are your dreams? What are the things that you have put in place to make sure that your dreams are coming to fruition? What are the things that you are doing in the now that would aid you? What are the things that will bring food on your table, even though it is not to your imagination? This is not what you have pictured, but what exactly are you doing in the now?
You see,
What are you doing?
I agree with your point, but you see the problem. I think she have highlighted the whole thing earlier. She mentioned something that it starts from when a child is small. The transfer of poverty
yes.
or riches, or how you put it, it starts from when the child is small. And how do you? Okay, I see it this way. Okay, you transfer everything that you want a child to be when he's small, and you know a child learn fast by observing. That's why they start doing things before start talking. So that's why you concentrate more on what you do and they watch than trying to make them call daddy and mama, and you begin to say whose name did the child first call. Is it mommy or daddy? Like you see people celebrate, yes, it's my name. He started that's his first speech. Mommy.
Why are you taking it personal?
No, it's annoying. It's annoying because we neglect the basic things and we just take things for granted. Anyway, some you not blame them because it's a level of level of their knowledge. You understand? Okay, this is the point I'm trying to make. The small child, while growing up, you will hear that they will be telling you, in our family we are 17. That's the father telling the child, in our family we are 17. We love crowd. And we survived that 17. Personally, me, I survived that 17 of all. Like, you understand? And then they'll begin to tell the child, it is the grace of God that I'm here today and I'm able to give birth to you already. And constantly until that child is almost 18, 17, 20, that's what that child will be hearing. And when the child is saying he wants to marry, they don't see anything wrong. Because already he has established to the child that they are 17 in number. They all of them struggle. You understand? And he will tell you his brothers, this one is having 20, this one is having 15, this one. That's how they are in the family. And that's why he will tell the child. So there's no problem him doing nothing and then he get married. Because he believes that him too is the grace of God that brought him where he is. And then he see nothing with the child saying he wants to marry. He will tell the child, Kayaure, Allah neze Canada.
And
when the child,
a woman, just in line with what you're saying,
yes,
she was lamenting recently of how that her parents are really sick, and it hurt her so much how that out of the 7 children they gave birth to, none can take care of their medical bills. Like, and they are all grown, all married, and she was like, none of them can take care of their medical bills. Now, back to their own family. One of them has, this particular woman has about 8 children, and she too cannot, her and her husband cannot even take care of the children.
The 8.
Yes. Now, when she got married and then gave birth to 1, 2, the husband said, is enough. Like, is enough. And her mother told her that the girls need a brother. And she decided no, how would you she should add, and she gave birth again. It brought a lot of trouble to them, her and the husband, and that she even left the house. And later on, she came back, she gave birth, and she had a boy child. And eventually, the husband said, enough. Okay, I was brought up in this way, and I'm still in the family house, and we are struggling. Like, as it stands, we're in just one room. We are now like 3 children, myself and you are 5. Enough of this. And the woman got pregnant again. It was another battle and war. She gave birth to another baby girl. And it brought problem after they settled and all. In fact, to the point that his family was saying she wanted to kill him with children. Because she later got pregnant again for the 5th one. And it was a girl, 6th one. And then her mother told her that the boy needs a brother. They are living in one room. Is that
how it works?
I mean,
like
they are living
you
in
you see
one,
the pattern shift, right?
Yes, the circle. But the woman said
circle.
it can be never ending.
Yes.
It depends on your decision. You understand? So that the mother told her that the boy would need a brother, and she now took in again, and it was a girl. So 7 girls now. So I think the mother-in-law decided to increase their space and give them like 2 rooms. The thing is that beyond the child needs a brother or your mother's advice, look at your current condition. Because of like the condition that the father or the husband was brought up in, like certain basic needs he could not afford. In fact, he didn't go to school. And he said, okay, these 2 are enough so that I can train them. What I could not, like, let me, the little I'm getting, not like I'm under any form of payment. It's just some jobs I do and all of that. And you too, you could not, like your parent couldn't send you to school because of the circle of poverty and all. So can we just give these 2 the best? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 now. Now, the first, just to take school fees, it's like a circle. Every term you have sent children back like that, go and plead. And so look at how decisions can just make you keep rolling in that circle of poverty. And you're saying that God will provide. God will do this. We just keep making certain statements to justify our action. Now, who told you that this girl child that you are unable to give her food to go to school will go to school and stay hungry? Because she must eat. Because she must eat, a friend will tell her that see, there's this guy that would want to see you later in the evening, and if you go, he will give you money. And because you have been in school for 1 month, 2 months, your parent did not send nothing to you. I think that's a good suggestion. You go, he gives you 5,000 without touching you. Tomorrow he calls you again and he gives you 10,000. Next tomorrow he asks for your body. And you are saying, he has been good and kind to me. And my parent did not even pay my school fees this, and he's promising to pay the school fees. So let me just. So you see how that I know that these children will grow and become this and that. What are you doing today to make that tomorrow that you're envisioning?
Exactly what
better?
I'm saying.
Because you cannot sit and be saying things and then while it's good to be positive and speak positivity, there must be action. The Bible says, have you seen a man diligent? He said, I will bless the works of your hands. There must be works. You must put in action. You can't sit and be speaking what God will do. Oh, God will do this and that. It will shock you. You will continue rigmaroling in that circle of poverty until you take action. Nothing will change.
The same Bible said. The same Bible says, tell your young men to get their hands busy. The same Bible said that. Get your young men to get their hands busy. That means that nobody should sit down idle for no reason. We keep talking about the family because the family is the smallest unit in the society. It is important.
It's a reflection of the bigger society.
Thank you very much. So this is this scenario that was just painted is the struggle of majority of the African communities.
Yes.
You find there's our brothers from the other faith are so keen on that. God will continue to provide. You see that they will go out in the morning, struggle to find what they will come and feed their children, like 10 children at home or 20, depending on how many wives this man has at home. And he's feeding.
This is what they say. By Kinder Allah Saga by Hannah.
Yes, and I can't, like this family. I give an example. I can't even tell you the number of times that I cannot even.
There's no need to explain.
This family I give an example with.
I jump outside. You understand?
You see, this family I give an example with. I can't even count the number of times that these children, as young as 1 year, 6 months, 2, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10. And then 14, older one 17, like have gone without food, like sleep without food because the parent, there's nothing they can do. So imagine the pain you're putting on these children because of your decision. Because of your decision.
Honestly.
So you see, the breaking the circle, that was why earlier on I said there are people today that they are living in luxury, but you can tell that tomorrow, if these people that you're relying on are not in the picture, it's going to be you like somersaulting into poverty. Because today, as we speak, you are not doing anything to protect tomorrow. Now, instead of earlier on, we hampered on borrowing, that it almost looked like we're talking about borrowing. But you see, some people today, instead of investing to protect tomorrow, you are borrowing to cage yourself. Because by the time you keep incurring this debt, it's like whatever you get is either you're paying debt or you're entering another debt. So tell me how you want to build your future.
God owns tomorrow.
God owns tomorrow.
Good.
Continue with the motivational speech to support your erroneous lifestyle. I tell you, sooner or later, you have the Bible say whatever you sow, you will reap.
Yes.
Whatever you sow. Earlier on, I was talking about how some of the couple, they say, oh, look at this person, but before they got to that stage, they suffered, they paid the price for that decision they did. Yes, we've seen people that got married doing nothing, later on, like they got a job, but before they got that job, they paid for doing nothing. Because they were nice, they did not eat. As even in their honeymoon, like they were nice, they didn't eat. They were embarrassment that they had to face. Why? Because they decided to take an action or a decision. A lady was sharing how she discussed with her grandmother. She was telling her that, oh, you're into this business. She said, yes. She said, now you're ready for marriage. But you see, we live in a society where as a lady, nobody tells you, oh, you need to get a job or you need to start a business for you to get married. You are of age, get married. You're of age, oh, you have graduated from school. Yes, get married. And the person gets married and the husband, a lot of responsibility on your head, or perhaps the job that you're relying on just goes out of your hands. So you see, now you have to start struggling for basic needs. Because or the husband start getting angry because everything is on his head. You are draining him and pushing him into poverty. Things that ordinary should afford and do, but because there's no support. The Bible says you are helpmeet, but you cannot support him physically, mentally, spiritually. He's drained to the point that you are pushing him into poverty. So it was on this day we talk about people that are doing well as single. They got married and all the stars are dim. So it's very important that we are deliberate about breaking the circle. And in breaking the circle, start with your decision, your choices. You must put in the work today. In case you did not hear anything, you must put in the work for it to break out from that circle. We're not saying get rich or die trying, put your hands in anything illegal. If you pay, the devil does not give anything free. If he gives you one, he will collect 10 times from you. And some people don't even live to even enjoy whatever the devil wants to. There's no enjoyment with the devil. So just ensure that you, whatever you need to do it the right way and then put in work.
And do not blame another person for whatever has happened to you. Everyone has his own share of cross to carry. So why do you want to give your load to another person because he was responsible for bringing you to the world or played a role one way or the other? Once you have gotten to that point of realizing that you are still rolling around that circle of poverty, do something, put effort. God wants to see the little you're doing. He wants to see your heart. Then he blesses that little and brings you out of it. Do not blame anyone, your parents, your colleagues, your whoever. Just put your own effort and see that. Yes, re-raise yourself.
I was going to phrase it this way. I was going to actually phrase it this way. You are the reason why you are where you are. You are the reason why you are where you are. It is what you are not doing that is making you to stay stagnant. It is what you do that will make you to go out of the circle of poverty. You cannot fold your arms and expect things to fall into your lap. No, it is not rain. It's only rain that falls into your lap just like that. Even then, when rain falls, you have to till the ground so that it would provide food for you to eat. So you need to get your hands doing something. You need to do the best that you can to get out, to break free. It's a chain that you need to break free from. It's not about going from one prayer house to the other or break one fasting to the other. It's beyond that. It is how much of you put into work. That's the only way you can get out of the circle of poverty.
You have comment?
No, I think we have network challenge. So.
All right, Prudence, Jemima, Joyce.
Always a pleasure.
Wonderful contribution. I'm just sitting down here, just learning, gathering those powerful points, to use it tomorrow, so that I
please
will
use
keep,
it today.
So that I will keep my cycle, not closing the gap, but making it wider. Well, thank you, and I will believe you'll be here tomorrow to do this with me. So, would you avail yourself?
I don't understand. What's that? What kind of question is that? I thought you were supposed to end it.
Is this an altar call? No. Will you avail yourself?
I mean, that's the most we take on today's edition of today's life. See you tomorrow, same time.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Bye.